guys, it's Emma, and I'm back today for you with another video. Today, we are talking about probably one of my new absolute favorite books of this entire year, and that is Burn by Patrick Ness. Patrick Ness is one of my favorite authors, if not my absolute favorite. This would have to be my 6th Patrick Ness book, and if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't plan on stopping with Patrick Ness anytime soon. This book is set from Washington in 1957, and it's about this girl, Sarah Dewhurst, and her father, and they both work a farm, but they're in really bad debt. Sarah's mother has passed away, and they need a hired hand, basically. And in this book, dragons don't exactly coexist with humans, but they live with humans and there's no conflict between the two, right? Well, basically Sarah and her father hire this dragon, Casimir, to help and work on the farm for them. Casimir has come to the farm looking for work, but it's not just a regular coincidence that he chooses Sarah's farm. No, he has a prophecy on his mind, and this prophecy involves a cult leader, a cult, an assassin. It's so cool, and Sarah is caught right in the middle of it. So it's basically Sarah and Casimir trying to figure out this prophecy and how to stop the world from ending. So the genre for this would have to be alternate history, fantasy, multiverse, and apocalyptic. If you like most of the genres that Patrick Ness writes about and you like dragons, this book will be perfect for you. Because I want this to be a spoiler-free review, there are some trigger warnings that go along with this book. There are trigger warnings for police brutality, there's a case of sexual assault in here, there's a case of homophobia with the use of a slur, and there's also, just in case, you know, this applies to anybody, I would also put a trigger warning for cult activities. The writing for this book, 14 out of 10, okay? Patrick Ness's prose is so pretty. There's action at literally every turn. Whatever you think is gonna happen, I guarantee you, that's not what's gonna happen, okay? I was left guessing with every single page turn, okay? While reading Burn, I honestly thought of the Book of M by Pang Shepard a lot because due to the fact that we're given this prophecy, we're having to figure out how the prophecy works. So Patrick Ness kind of strings us along very strategically to where it's not too spread out to where we get bored almost, but it's not so clumped together that we get a bunch of information at once and then we practically know what the prophecy about. No, we're strung along very strategically, like I said, and it's honestly like a puzzle. Like how I felt with the Book of M being strung along to where I was putting pieces together pretty much every single page. That's almost what happens with Burn. Maybe just a little bit more spread out, but no less strategic. The main trope that's used in Burn is the chosen one trope, which I know a lot of people don't care for, which I can kind of agree with. However, Burn twists it in such a cool way. The humor. Okay, look, it's not obnoxious or just off-putting. You know what I mean? It's very sarcastic, sometimes just oblivious humor. And his wit is very, very interesting to read. The characters in this book are probably some of the best that I've read because there are a lot of modern day crises that are talked about and covered in this book. Because it's set in the 1950s, so a lot of people were more closed-minded, a lot of people were more ignorant towards the LGBTQ plus community, towards black people, towards the Japanese, especially because it's the 50s, right? It's just after Pearl Harbor. And so because so many of these topics are talked about and are brought into the story through these characters, it makes the characters a lot more lifelike and a lot more easily relatable. And on top of that, analyzing even the most stereotypically evil characters in the book leads to their human nature underneath it. And we see why it's covered up by, what makes us hate them. It just shows you how good an author is by how human they can make someone, yet at the same time be absolutely vile. Casimir has to be my favorite character, okay? Throughout this entire thing, Casimir, I loved him, okay? Casimir had bars, all right? Casimir was a wordsmith, an absolute wordsmith. There are a lot of quotes in here by Casimir that are just astoundingly written. I'm gonna give you 2 examples, and one of them is on page 100. It is interesting, this word small, Casimir said, opening his wings some. It is accurate to say that I am smaller than my red brethren. He stepped forward, like he did that night at the gas station, making himself look enormous, terrifying. It is inaccurate to say that I am small. And then on page 293, Sarah says, I'm just a girl. And then Casimir comes back with, it is tragic how well you have been taught to say that with sadness rather than triumph. Casimir said girl power. He said it with his whole chest, okay? The world building is so cool because even though it's literally 1950s America, it's still cool to see what he adds because of the dragon aspect. And then the representation in here is just, we love it. Because one of our main characters, one of our point of view characters is gay. We have Sarah, who's mixed, and then we have Jason, who is Japanese. We love to see it. We love representation. We love to see her. All in all, I gave this bitch 5 stars, okay? I love this book. First of all, I love dragons, okay? I miss dragon stories. I missed books with dragons in them. And to finally have been able to read a book that reminds me so much of Mary Mancusi's Scorched and Shattered and Smoked, where it was literally an urban fantasy with dragons in it. It's literally Terminator meets dragons. And then to finally be able to read another dragon story written by one of my favorite authors, I keep saying it over and over again. If you are a fan of Patrick Ness, please read this. The representation is amazing. The topics and crises that it discusses and covers are incredibly well-rounded. Did I mention that there are dragons? There's a cool twist on the Chosen One trope. There's so many things that happen in this book. There's so many factors. Like I said before, with the prophecy, you've got a prophecy, you've got dragons, you've got the Chosen One trope, you've got cults, you've got an assassin. There's so many factors. It's kind of like Hawaiian chicken pizza. There's so many flavors and so many different pieces added together that you don't think it would work, but when in actuality, at least to me, it does. That's what this book is. It has so many factors from so many different types of stories that you just don't think that he'd be able to execute it all flawlessly, or at least a little bit flawlessly. But when I tell you, he does. Trust me on that. So, Burn by Patrick Ness, cannot recommend this enough. Something that I will put down in the description, other than, the normal stuff, is I will still have a bunch of petitions that you can go and sign to support the Black Lives Matter movement. There's a crisis going on in Yemen. I'll also have a link to anything that you can use to educate yourself on that, but I'll also have information about what's going on in Serbia down in the description below as well. So, I hope that this video can serve, as a little bit of a light point. So, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. So, without any further ado, have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye.